A very warm welcome to my panels, T.S. Ahmad Zubair bin Jamil and Inche Azhan bin Abdul Rahman. Before I jump into my presentation, let me introduce myself first. My name is Leonard Ruben Anak Lelaki Susek, and my matrix number is B0818103888. I'm a student from Faculty of Electrical and Electronics Engineering Technology. Currently, I'm pursuing my bachelor's in Electrical Engineering Technology. I'm a student under supervision of T.S. Dr. Zulkifli bin Ibrahim. Today, I am going to present about my final year project, which is entitled Investigation of Tampering Detection Device for Energy Meter by using GSM module. As the title speaks, the main subject that we are going to discuss today is about energy meter, meter tampering, and the proposed method to avoid the tampering. Energy meter. What is an energy meter actually is? An energy meter is a device which is used to measure and display the total energy consumption of a certain premise. It is the most essential part of an electrical circuit. This device plays a very big role in connecting both consumers and the energy supplier, where in Malaysia it is TNB. Without the presence of this device, it would be a very difficult task for the energy suppliers to record the energy consumption of a premise and declare the bills. Yet, a very big problem faced by the energy supplier in producing accurate consumption bill is energy meter tampering. Energy meter tampering is a common issue which is in trend since the early 21st century. This is a criminal act of preventing the energy meter to record the output or the actual power consumption of a certain premise. But why do people do this criminal act? It is because to free themselves from paying the actual amount of energy consumption, which might eventually cost them higher. How do they do this? There are some professionally trained individuals who learn and understand the complete working principle of an energy meter and perform this act as the customer requires. Tampering needs some simple alterations to be done to the energy meter wire connections, which leads us to the next slide on methods of tampering. There are several common methods that are being used to tamper an electrical energy meter, such as neutral current and phase reverse method, where the polarity of the energy meter will be changed and an inaccurate reading will be shown. The next method is neutral externally grounded method, where the circuit will be not complete yet current flows and the meter will not be able to record any readings. And the final most commonly used method is current bypass method, where the whole connection will not go through the meter but bypass over it. Meter tampering causes a lot of problems surrounding. The first problem statement of this project is consumers bravely tamper their meter because it is not easily detected, so they can free themselves from paying a high electrical bill. This leads us to the next second factor, where tampering affects the revenues of the country and also the energy supplier. Finally, new methods are invented to tamper the energy meter. Therefore, the main purpose to do this project is to avoid any forms of meter tampering from happening, and this could ensure proper billing process to be happen, where it allows the country and energy provider to get back their return of investment. The second purpose is to improve the security in the energy meter, which also avoids several other factors like illegal meter replacement. And finally, it is to identify new methods of tampering, and improve the security system to avoid any future tamperings from happening. The scope of the project is to build a prevention circuit for consumers to avoid them tampering their energy meter. And the second is to improve the security and the functionality of an energy meter. Now, let us move to the methodology of the project, where it explains the components, methods that will be used to create this project. Components and software. These are the components which is being used to create this project. The first is Arduino Uno microcontroller, where it acts as the brain of the whole circuit and it controls the other several components which is being installed in this circuit. Next up, it is the IR sensor, where it detects the opening and closing of the energy meter cover, where it will place inside the energy meter cover, where it will detect the opening and closing of it. Followed by GSM SIM 900A module, where the moment the IR sensor senses the opening of the energy meter, it will directly sense the signals to the Arduino Uno microcontroller, and the GSM will send an alert message to the numbers which has been programmed by the Arduino Uno. Following up with a buzzer, where it is used to alert the surrounding people about this tampering which is going to happen. And the softwares which are used in this project is Arduino IDE, where the codings are being written, and following up with the Proteus software, where a circuit diagram which is built. The block diagram consists of inputs and outputs of a circuit, where in this project we have IR sensor as an input, followed by a microcontroller, an output which is GSM module, and a buzzer. The IR sensor, it is used to detect the opening and closing as mentioned. The GSM module, where it acts as an output sending alert message to the numbers which has been programmed, and for the buzzer, it acts as an alarm system for the surrounding. All these components are controlled by the microcontroller. Next up is the flowchart. This is the flowchart of the program. The process starts with an IR sensor as an input, where it will wait for the meter cover opening. When the energy meter cover is open, then the IR sensor sends a logical signal to the microcontroller. And the microcontroller receives the signals and activates the GSM module and the buzzer. The GSM module sends the text message to the assigned numbers in the microcontroller. If the energy meter is not opened, the process will go back to the IR sensor, and IR sensor will wait and detect the opening. As for the initial results, a simple circuit diagram which has been constructed using a Proteus software. So now let us look at the circuit simulation.
So this is the circuit diagram which is constructed. So this consists of IR sensor as the input, LED light as the output, buzzer as an output, LCD screen as an output, and an Arduino Uno microcontroller to control the process of the simulation. So the purpose of this circuit is to guarantee the working of the original circuit hardware, which will be constructed in PSM2. And the LCD screen is used as a replacement for the GSM module in this simulation. This is because the module which is chosen for the proposed design, which is GSM SIM 900A, is not available in the Proteus library. So therefore, an alternative component such as LCD or LED can be used. So for these initial results, I am using both LCD and LED as a replacement for the GSM module. So now let us run the simulation. Now, as we can see, the IR sensor is toggled with high input. The toggle switch represents the input and output of the sensor. When the toggle switch is high, which means the meter cover is still kept closed. The LCD screen shows the condition saying cover is closed. The LED will not light up and the buzzer will not produce any sound. The moment the toggle switch is set to low, which means the cover is opened, the IR sensor senses it and sends the signals to the microcontroller. And the microcontroller triggers all the output simultaneously, the LCD, buzzer, and the light. The LCD will print out a message saying representing GSM, and the LED will light up and the buzzer will sound. So now let us switch. Okay. Now the LED has been light up and the buzzer is producing a sound, and the GSM and the LCD is printing out a message saying representing GSM. So this is how the initial results of this project. So as for the expected results in PSM2, the GSM module will be replaced by the LCD and the LED. It will send an alert message to the numbers which is been dedicated and coded in the Arduino Uno using the Arduino IDE. So in the real-time simulation or project, two numbers will be programmed in the coding, where one number is the owner of the energy meter and the other one is the authorized person appointed by the energy supplier. So in Malaysia, which is TNB. The reason we are having two numbers set is because in some scenarios of tampering is done without the owner's knowledge. Therefore, the owner can detect the tampering together with the authorized person, which is set in TNB. So the owner can get a message on an alert message saying the meter is being tampered. So both the parties will get to know about the tampering. So in other scenarios, the owner of the energy meter itself will tamper the energy meter. So in that type of scenarios, the TNB person can detect it and they can stop the tampering from being happen. So in the GSM alert message, it contains the location of the energy meter is being tampered. So people who receive the text message, they can easily know the place of tampering is done.
This is the planned gunshot and timeline which has been executed for the whole semester in project final year project 1, where the first 2 weeks have been used to choose the title, and the third week followed up with writing the chapter 1, and it continues until week 13 and week 14, where the presentation and submission of the project which has been going on. And following up with the content for final year project 2, this is an assumption where it could be changed in the future time. So therefore, to summarize my presentation, I would like to conclude with that by executing this project proposal, we can avoid meter tampering from occurring, and this would save the biggest parties in the country, where the government's revenue and the energy suppliers ROI, return of investment. Following up with, we can also improve the security system of the energy meter and avoid some other effects such as illegal replacement and all. Finally, this project would also ensure that the demand and supply gap between consumer and the suppliers would reduce. Therefore, all the objective which has been stated initially would be achieved by this project. So, we have reached to the end of my presentation. So I would like to end my video by giving thanks for both of my panels who have given full attention for my project presentation and my supervisor who have guided me throughout this project. In the midst of this COVID pandemic, I hope that every one of us would stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.